Hey, be having a great Sunday. You know, one thing about Michael Brooks that I miss the most, I'm having to deal with, is he had it all. You know, and we're dealing with these new crises and these new things that are jumping up, and we don't have that anymore. So I watch Hassan Piker to laugh. I watch weekends to get that extra understanding of where we stand at, because that's what Michael Brooks, that's what all that was just this long range outside view of why the world is the way it is, what's going on right now, and things like that. The critique, you understand? And I look at Majority Report. To me, Majority Report is like the socialist progressive community, like the reasonable community, not people who just want to go out here and scream about police brutality or legalization of drugs, but just, I don't know how to explain it to you. To me, watching Majority Report is like going into grandma's house. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna go somewhere where you're loved and you're respected, and you're gonna leave there with something, and they're probably gonna give you something half off free anyway. And whatever that you do have to spend money on, it's gonna help you. It's something beneficial. It isn't just like you're gonna buy this because my name Michael Brooks is on this. My name is Sam Cedar and it's on this. Like, no, you're gonna get something out of this, and this money goes somewhere. Like my grandparents, my mother put into me charity, going to the food bank and stuff like that, and being a part of the community and being thankful what we have. And you know what I mean? Like that no matter how successful we are, don't forget about the least of us. That's to me what Majority Report kind of is. It's a critique. It's a critique too, but it's also just working in conjunction. Like there's a thing with David Pakman and Sam Cedar right now. They disagree. You watch the videos, you see how like there's really no disrespect. And people that are trying to play it up, but like they really don't disrespect each other. They really like respect each other for what they do. Like you don't really see that. Like when you look at hip hop and black culture, like we fight each other. We do, Watching this watching a excerpt on a damage report, John Cigarillo, what his name is, and he was referring to a commercial that was done. It's just talking about how Trump really disrespects women, doesn't respect women, and John said the same thing that I said, that I had forgotten there were so many, press conferences where he disrespected women and stuff like that. How that's very common. That's something that Trump does. He's been doing it. That's just something that's not once in a while. That's his nature. And he had a Latina on there talking with him. She was basically saying that he doesn't respect women and all this kind of stuff, and how he doesn't even like the idea of women being in there as press people asking him questions. And they went in there. They were talking about how, I guess Trump had black people around him, tokens. We know this is true. What's the dude named Herman Cain? He passed recently. What got me with that is he was in the hospital, and there was one of his people were writing a story on his webpage about how no one takes this pandemic seriously, how it's taking away our rights. And to me, it's the black dude on Young Turks said this. It's kind of sad that even in his dying breath, he was being taken advantage of to push a conservative talking point of we don't need the restrictions, hurting the economy, who cares, it's not killing many people. And they don't care about the poor. They don't care about young. They don't care about the poor or old people. They don't care about that stuff. But the fact that this man's own people were using his website as a vehicle to push that message, that is That's really sick. And he wound up dying later on. He wound up dying of COVID-19. I did a video on this. And they were talking about it, him disrespecting the reporters and all that. And I thought about those stuffed deer heads you see on the wall of hunting cabins. You've seen them before, deer and bear and stuff. And really, to me, that's what Omarosa, Herman Cain, Ben Carson, all those people, that's what they are. They're stuffed heads. They're not real. I don't care how fearsome they were before I got them. I don't care about that. I don't care. They might have killed 20 men, 100 men. They're on my wall now. It doesn't matter how pretty they look or how professionally done or how much I spend on it. They're not a threat to me anymore. They're no threat to me or anybody else I bring in here. I can put that shit right up at the front door. You know? That's to me what Herman Cain, Omarosa, all of them are or were in Herman Cain's case. They're puppets, they're tokens, and everybody knows that. Kanye West is another example of that. Ain't nobody knocking Kanye West for his success. But Kanye West is a stuffed head. He's a puppet. He's a token. He doesn't even really understand. And let's talk about it. To me, the tokens that we see running around, step back. I spoke about Dave Rubin. I think he done an interview with Ben Shapiro a while back. Michael Brooks spoke one that I watched yesterday, where he was talking about how, I don't have a problem with gay people, but I wouldn't be willing to go to your wedding, and I wouldn't support you, this, that, and the other. Dave Rubin is a homosexual. He's a conservative, lives in Los Angeles. But he has these little events where his whole spiel is, I'm not a threat to white people. White people aren't a threat. White men aren't a threat to me by being conservatives. And you're living in a liberal area, Los Angeles, with your husband. You're living in an area where people don't care about that. They don't have a problem with you being gay or any of that. And you're going somewhere to disrespect them? They respect you for being something other than heterosexual. But you hate us for being liberals. So anyway, in that event where he was talking to Ben Shapiro was like, no, I would not be willing to come to an event, anniversary party, any of that. And you could see that Dave he was a little bit confused. He was a little bit like surprised that you're dealing with real resentment. You're dealing with someone who did not support gay marriage or any of that. And he kept giving a little caveat, so I don't have a problem with it. Look, I think that Ben Shapiro's comments in that video are an example of how conservatives have had to change. Like, Ben Shapiro's got this mindset, I guess, of that, well, I'm gay, but it's okay. Not realizing that people on the left, people like me, fought for you to have the right to marry another man. And that conservatives accept it because they have to. It's like, I can vote. Doesn't matter if a white man, well, I have no problem with black people voting. No. It has nothing to do with that. There's laws and there's books that I can go find for you that give me the right to do that. It isn't about what you think. And I thought about everything with conservatives, pollution and stuff like that, that they're like, well, there should be this. Yeah, because we have laws now that have made you guys do that. You didn't give us, conservatives didn't give us anything. That's not how their game works. You were forced to. People went out in the streets and fought and died. So we had unemployment insurance, and we had the MSDS data on chemicals in the workplace, and things like that. I said employment already, but those kind of things. 40-hour work week, not child labor laws. That was all socialists. Conservatives didn't just say, well, we shouldn't be abusing children. No. But he's another example, right? Dave Rubin is another example of a minority. Yeah, homosexual is a minority. A minority who has forgotten the struggle that gave you the right to even speak in the public discourse as a gay man, as a black man, as a female. You know what I mean? People fought for that, and you guys have forgotten it, and you just think that, well, I've got money, and people aren't running around behind me chasing me with guns and stuff. You know, there's a lady on there made a comment. It really shook me that Dave Rubin, being gay isn't the most important thing. It's being rich. I'm a rich man before I'm a gay man. And it just blew me away. Another token. It's like Candace Owens. It's like Charlie Kirk is a white man. But these are all just tokens. This is the new generation of tokens. You know, it's shocking to me that they're. It's like Dave Rubin. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's funny because if y'all weren't making that money, Ben Shapiro would have nothing to say to you. If YouTube dried up, that dude would never call you again. And you probably know that. That dude would never call you again. You're his little token. You're just broadening the base a little bit. I love it. One of his events, I'm gonna end here. There was a guy that actually stood up in the comments and said, how does anal sex help with winning the social war? The social war. I love it. And I was laughing because I'm like, this guy is like disrespecting you right to your face at your event. And you're going to probably try to come up with some way to pretend, to twist the narrative around that he really wasn't being homophobic. I love that. He's at your event telling you to your face, I don't respect you for being a faggot. I will never respect you for being a faggot. I don't care how much money you have or suits you wear or how many college degrees you get or you use precise intellectual academic language. You ain't nothing but a faggot to me. And that's all you're going to ever be. And that's what he was basically saying to that man. There was a way he could have said something like that without being offensive. And that's offensive. There was a way he could have said something. You know, and it didn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me anymore. Peace.